Hi there, this is Hunter Fleming in I-Fi UGTA for statistics. Today we're going to be talking about the factor command in RStudio. So you can see here that I've already loaded up a data set that I've called cancer here. So this is showing different cancer treatments. And when I go to look at this data set, you can see that these columns are coded. So rather than showing, for example, male or female labels, we see zeros and ones. So what the factor command allows us to do is to alterate these zeros and ones into something more meaningful. So let's go ahead and we're going to start this new code chunk here and get working with that factor command. And the first thing we're going to want to do is load the data set. We're going to call it. First, we write cancer because that's what I've named the data set up here earlier. Then I'm going to use the cache sign. And we're going to start with the ID column. So this cache sign ID corresponds with this column. So that tells RStudio, hey, we're going to be working with this column for this factor command. So I'm going to add an arrow now, and then we're going to say factor. That's our command. Then we're going to say the data set once again, which is cancer, ID, comma, levels, equals, concatenate, and in this case we have either a 0 or a 1, and that will correspond to this. So you can see we either have a 0 for male or a 1 for female. So we have 0 or 1 in the levels category, we had a comma there, and we're going to put labels. This is what we're changing it to. Labels equal to concatenate, and then in quotations, male, comma, female. And the order is quite important here. So if we have this 0 here and this male here, that's how RStudio knows which corresponds to which. So the order in which you write is critical. So now if we run these two lines of code, you can see that under the ID column, instead of having zeros and ones, we now have female and male. So let's try this again with the treatment column. Again, we're going to call the data set, but this time we're going to do the treatment column. Add the arrow and use the factor command once again. Call the data set once again, comma, levels are equal to, concatenate. In this case, rather than just having a 0 or a 1, we have a 0, a 1, or a 2. So we actually have 3 different categories to replace. So we're going to write 0, comma, 1, comma, 2, comma, labels are equal to, concatenate. In this case, we're going to say placebo, comma, CBD, comma, NSAIDs. So now let's run that data again. And you can see here that the treatment column has now also been altered. So that's how we change those labels, those 1s and 2s, to something more meaningful.